So let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Gloria Ko. I am a double Berlin graduate in 2006 in communications and then a master's in education in 2007. I currently serve as the Senior Director for Alumni Career Engagement at the UCLA Alumni Association, and I'm thrilled to have you all here interested in learning more about the Mentor Program and how it will fit into your year ahead. And I want to introduce my co-speaker, Kyle, who will also introduce himself as well.
Thank you, Gloria. Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle Bowie, and I am a third-year chemistry major, and I'm also the Alumni Mentor Program Director from the Alumni Scholars Club. I'm really excited to work with Gloria and to work with all of you and participants, and really want for all of you to have meaningful and healthy relationships. And I'm really here to have, or to promote for all of you to have a really high level of engagement with your alumni. I really hope that you all take advantage of this virtual space that we're in, and wanted to say that I am your student resource and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about the program. And I'm really here for you, so don't hesitate at all. I'll be going over a little bit more ways in which you can reach me and ask questions later. And with that, I'll just turn it back to Gloria.
Thanks, Kyle. So just to give you a lay of the land in terms of the Alumni Association, your Alumni Association has a suite of different programs for students to connect you with alumni, whether that's from digital resources to networking events like entertainment networking night or interview with the Bruin, or even guest lectures in different classrooms. We have some Bruin development academies throughout the year, and also just general programs for panels with alumni and programs like this where you can connect with a mentor or an alumni directly. I'll be sharing a little bit about the platform of UCLA One, which is what houses our mentor program. And so if you have any questions about UCLA One in particular and your registration profile, I would say please email us directly at careerprograms@alumni.ucla.edu. Give us your name, your UID, and what your issue is, and we'll be happy to address it with you directly. We won't be able to do any sort of pinpointing the exact issues that you might be facing through this webinar, but we want to make sure that you get your profile set up. So be sure to email us if you have any specific questions. So as Kyle mentioned, he's part of the Alumni Scholars Club, and the Alumni Scholars Club actually started the Alumni Mentor Program, this particular one, 16 years ago. And so through the use of our platform, UCLA One, we're able to offer this program an opportunity to more students. And really the point of the program is to foster meaningful relationships between UCLA alumni and current students. We want the connections that you make to be helpful in preparing you for your future, and also for you to get the most out of your experience here at UCLA. So whether that is, connecting you with opportunities, or even just giving you advice, a mentorship can be really helpful. But I also wanted to just kind of gauge your thoughts and ask you through this poll, who do you think leads a mentorship? You can pick, do you think it's an alumni mentor that leads it, or do you think it's the student that leads a mentorship? So I'll give you a couple seconds to fill that out. So while people are filling out that poll, I'll go over quickly some stats about our program. We had 2,000 students that participated in the program last year. 977 alumni were mentors. And then we had over 225 majors that participated. So a lot of different majors were able to be served through this program. And also we had a good balance of male to female mentors, which is so important, as our student body reflects the gender diversity that we want to see. And so if, as we are moving forward this year, we hope to help address and, serve the needs of our students, especially during this time, during the pandemic. So wonderful. So from the poll, it looks like the student wins in terms of who leads the mentorship. And this question, I will be honest, is a little bit of a trick question. Many times people enter into a mentorship thinking that the alumni will automatically know what the student needs or wants and will direct the way that the mentorship should go. And many of you are correct in that the student will lead it in the sense that they will share what doors they hope to be opened through this mentorship. The alumni can open those doors, but unless you tell them what doors you want them to open, they may not know, or they may not think that that's what you want, when in fact you are interested in opportunities and things like that. So, we want you to be able to understand a little bit about the dynamics of a mentorship through this info session to really help guide you in your mentor selection process. So, great job, everyone. I know this is a little bit of an interesting mixed, answer, but the fact that many of you are saying that the student leads it is absolutely correct, in that we want you to really think about what kind of goals and, what objectives you hope to gain from this mentorship. So I'll share with you a little bit about the types of mentorships that we see. So oftentimes, when you think of a mentor, you might think of one of these three things, or you might actually think a mentor should be all these things. So first is a personal mentor. Oftentimes these are family members that we know, that we really love, and they have such a meaningful impact on our lives. These are often teachers for us on effective living. Maybe we love the way that they balance their personal life and their careers. Maybe we've seen the sacrifices that they've made, and we see them as kind of a touch point in terms of, this is someone I want to emulate. Then we'll have professional mentors. These are models for our career and professional success. Maybe you see someone on LinkedIn and you're like, wow, that is so cool that they went to this company after being at UCLA, and they worked their way up. And so oftentimes, professional mentors can give us a guideline or just a pathway for a career that we think would be really interesting to us. And then we have leadership mentors. And oftentimes these are people maybe we'll never meet in our lifetime, but we love the way that they've really talked through how they see leadership and how they teach it. And so sometimes people would consider Coach Wooden a leadership mentor. Maybe they'll never meet him, or they've never known him at all, but they read his books and they understand his philosophy. So that's a great example of a leadership mentor. And so sometimes I think the biggest trip up that oftentimes students make is that they put one person to be all three of these things on the onset of their mentorship. They expect that this person will be exactly who they want to be when they grow up in 10 years, or they have the exact career that they want and the exact trajectory, or that this person also then has to have this personal leadership philosophy that they're excited about. And so that's a really tall order, to ask one person to fulfill that role. And so what we ask our students is to really think about, what is one area in which one type of mentor will be really helpful to you at this point in time. Maybe a personal mentor, because you're trying to balance what it's like to live at home, or live live with family, and then also balancing that with a busy schedule. So having someone that maybe comes from a certain kind of background that aligns with yours is more helpful. Or maybe right now you're a transfer student and you just want to understand, what were some of the tools and tricks and resources that a fellow transfer student used to be successful to where they are. So maybe that's more important to you. So maybe something like a personal mentor is more important to you. Some others of you may say, hey, you know what, I really want to take this opportunity while I'm at home to really build out my connections at a certain company while I'm in a virtual space. I want to be able to do more informational interviews. I want to be able to do more connection on a professional level. So a professional mentor is what you're looking for. So dig into that. And then also, if you find someone on our platform that you see, oh, I really want to just learn from them, then maybe that leadership mentor is what you're looking for. And so what my suggestion is finding which area is most important to you right now, and really starting with that, starting with one of those three angles, because over time, you may actually grow in relationship and learn more about the personal side, or grow more in spending more time with them, you'll learn more leadership skills from them. And so that way, you're not necessarily going in thinking, I need to find the perfect match for all three aspects of a mentorship. So something to think about as we move forward. And also things for you to consider. As you begin this mentorship process, we want you to be self-aware and to reflect a little bit about what your goals are, and also what you can actually put into the mentorship. The biggest, one of the biggest mistakes that you can make at the beginning of a mentorship is say that you want to do all these different things and then not follow through. So, things to think about. All three of these questions are important. First question is, what do I hope to learn from a mentor? What are the areas of personal growth that you want to tackle this year? What do you hope to learn? What do you hope to address? What do you also just hope to explore a little bit more? Second question is, what do I hope to develop in myself this year? This is an active question because as you develop something, you have to practice. You have to put yourself out there, and you also have to take risks, right? So, but that these will help in preparing you and also making you feel more confident, whether that's wanting to practice your interview skills or feel really great about your resume, or just feel really confident about the way that you present yourself in a virtual setting, right? What are some things that you hope to develop in yourself? And then also feel that you feel so much better about yourself at the end of the year. And then the last question is, how much am I willing to put into this process? And I think this is a key question for everyone to think about as you begin a mentorship, is how much time am I willing to put into this? Some of you may have oodles of time to give, which is wonderful, but some of you may not. You're balancing a lot at home, in school, maybe you have an extra job. And so maybe you're thinking, you know what, I don't have a lot of time. And so we'll talk a little bit about what the time commitment is here. But, as you're moving through a mentorship, your mentor might, open up some opportunities, extra meetings, extra assignments. And I mean assignments more like optional, but, things to tackle as you're going through the year. And if you don't follow through or you don't really have time for them, then it makes this opportunity for a mentorship, it won't be as fruitful. So again, thinking of these three questions is important. And really, ultimately, your initiative and your investment in the process is what will make this whole mentorship experience more enjoyable and more fruitful. So again, things to think about. And again, there's no pressure to have an answer, but slowly as you're moving through this beginning part, having some of these answers will help you in clarifying the right mentor for you, okay? And so some of the program expectations is that you would be committed to your mentor for the year, the academic year. This is the same commitment that we're asking for our mentors. If they've said yes, they are committing to being with you for the year. And we say that there's monthly communication with your mentor. And this can be for a couple hours each month, or maybe each week you'll just check in with each other, not like an hour or anything, but maybe over text or over email. And so that we think that it really will depend on your flexibility and your mentor's availability. And so this is a conversation that you'll have at the beginning, but at a minimum, you'll at least touch base with each other once a month. We also ask that you fill out our pre and post surveys just to help us track how your mentorship is going. And it gives us that opportunity to improve our process and give you resources along the way. And also you're committing to being responsive and timely in your correspondence, whether that's to your mentor or our staff, right? So we will do our best, and we know during this period, you may be waiting on your registration to be approved. And so thank you for your patience. We are gonna do our best to approve those in a timely manner, but also be responsive and timely in your correspondence to your mentors. So that's important because no one likes to have an email or a text left unread, or maybe you see that it's read and they didn't respond, right? No one likes to be ghosted or feel like there's no, what's happening. So be responsive, and also being honest in your, let's say you have a final this week or a paper and you don't have the time to respond, just even say, hey, I have a paper that's due on Thursday. Let me get back to you on Friday. Being honest and open about your availability is key to really building that trust throughout a mentorship. And then also be appropriate and respectful. The mentorship is going to start off a bit professional, a bit more professional than personal, just because you're getting to know each other. You're still learning who this person is and they're learning who you are. But as you feel more comfortable, you'll then be able to delve into different types of topics. But remember to just, if you feel comfortable sharing more, do so. But also being mindful that, you don't want to overshare, and you also want to just make sure that you are, moving and leading it in the direction of a personal relationship, if that's what you want. But if that's not what you want, also remembering to, be mindful of that. And also an area of appropriateness and respectfulness, as your mentor does want to help you, they may not be able to give you a job right now. So starting the first meeting and saying, hey, I need an internship. Can you find me an internship right now? That's probably not an appropriate question. No one likes to be asked a really big question like that. And of course they want to help, but they don't have a job maybe, right? So, just being appropriate and being mindful. And as a relationship grows, you can ask for things, but you want to do that in the context of the relationship growing. But on that note, if a mentor is not being appropriate or crossing boundaries with you, please let our staff know. So as Joseph put here in the chat, career programs at alumni.ucla.edu, if you have an issue that needs to be addressed, or you have a mentor that is stepping out of line, do not hesitate to let us know. We will not tolerate behavior like that from anybody. So if you are put in a situation where you feel that you're uncomfortable, please let us know immediately, and we will make sure we take care of you and take care of that issue. And again, through the process, you will be developing, I think, these three things. And in the context of the pandemic, we all are growing in these areas, but I think a mentorship will help us even more, which is grit, perseverance, and flexibility. Grit in that, being in a mentorship, you are committing to growing that relationship. It's not going to always start off perfectly, but it doesn't mean that it won't be a meaningful and fruitful relationship down the line. So things may not go to plan, but stick with it. And also that ties in with perseverance, right? Mentorship relationships develop at different rates. Maybe you have a friend that has a mentor that you've been hearing, oh my gosh, they're doing all these things. Don't automatically think that your mentor doesn't care about you just because it doesn't match what you're hearing in other people. Be perseverant, and also know that your mentorship is unique to you. Okay, and then also being flexible. Again, I will say this, there are going to be mentors that you've selected and you're excited to work with, but then they don't respond to you at all. And so we want to give you the agency and the initiative to say, hey, this isn't working out for me, so I'm going to move on. And that is okay. Just because you've committed to them for a year doesn't mean that if it doesn't work, that you can't change course. And we'll show you how to do that and how to do that on the platform. Okay, so you are able to be flexible with this program. If the mentorship doesn't work out, or if maybe both of you don't really have the time to give, it's okay to step away from it and then restart something else. So you are able to be flexible in this program, but we do ask that you commit to it at least for a year, or at least try to commit for the year, just so that you are working on building that relationship. And so when it comes to the mentor pairing process, I wanted to share with you a couple of steps. And I'll show you a little bit about this in the live demo. So first you're going to sign up. And so you're going to create a UCLA One profile. Go to ucla1.com. And you're going to create a profile. And I'll show you some of the areas in which to fill out to let people know that you're interested in having a mentor. Then you're going to do your research. You're going to review profiles of mentors, check out areas, whether that's by company or by community, and maybe find some alumni that you would really like to work with. And I suggest 1 to 4 alumni that are your top 4 that you like to work with. Then you're going to send those requests, and then you're going to await a response. We are letting our mentors know, please be sure to respond as soon as you can. Don't leave students hanging, because you only have 1 mentor request at a time. And the reason why we do this is we want to also prevent you from having to be in a very awkward situation where you then have to tell a mentor, actually, never mind. So that's not very professional, right? So you'll send 1 mentor request at a time, but you are able to cancel your mentor request and find another mentor if you aren't getting the response at a timely manner. And then, but once you're accepted, you can then begin communicating with your mentor. We will have a kickoff and an orientation to give you more tips and strategies of what to do with each other. But at least once you're accepted, you'll be able to say, hey, let's maybe set up a Zoom call or a phone call just to start talking about some of the things that we want to do this year, okay? And so then this is a sample request template. You'll introduce yourself, share your name, your year, your major, any relevant experience that you think would connect with your mentor, your potential mentor, explain what you hope to learn from an alumni mentor and how you'll be a good fit. So include any references, to information that you see. Say, oh, I was in that club as well. It looks really interesting that you're doing this. I would love to be considered. And so also be sure to conclude by asking, be sure to ask, say those words. Would you be willing to consider me as a mentee, or would you be my mentor this year? Do be direct, because they may be reading it and they're like, oh, does this person want to work with me? So be direct and ask, like, I would love to be considered as a mentee for you this year. And then also thank them for their consideration. So this is a nice just structure for how your request will be. And I'll show you how to show you where to send it and everything. So our recommendation is that you write this request on a Word doc first. And so then you can go into the system and submit it by copying and pasting it. And so once you are paired, or once your mentor has accepted you, you're then, you can start your mentorship. And then also our staff and Kyle and his committee are available for questions and advice throughout the year. We will have an orientation during our kickoff, and we'll provide training materials for you and your mentor. And then also we'll have monthly e-newsletters to give you ideas and things that you can talk about, or challenges to take on. And so if you have any questions here, whether it's today or throughout the year, you can go to alumni mentors at alumnischolarsclub.org. Okay, and so Kyle and his committee will address those for you. So now I want to turn it over to Kyle. He'll give you a couple of tips and strategies for how to take on the year ahead.
Thanks again, Gloria. Hi again, everyone. My name is Kyle. I introduced myself earlier, and I'm the Alumni Mentor Program Director from the Alumni Scholars Club. And I just wanted to talk with all of you about my experience with a mentor and a couple of tips on how to really succeed in this program. And so when I came to UCLA as a freshman, it was a really big campus, as many of you can relate to, and it was really overwhelming. And I think one of the big questions that we all really want to figure out here at UCLA is, what career do we want to pursue after we graduate? And I think that this Alumni Mentor Program provides a really awesome platform and outlet to solve this question. And what Gloria was talking about earlier was how you can have a professional, personal, or leadership mentor. And I think this program really helped me find that professional mentor, for me specifically, because I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do after I graduate UCLA. And so when I met my mentor, Audrey, on UCLA 1, I was really excited because she was also a chemistry major, and she really helped me figure out what types of things you can do after you graduate with a major in chemistry. And I'm just giving my example in chemistry, but this can apply to any different type of major. And it's really awesome because she showed me the pharmaceutical industry and what you can do in pharma, and how she pursued higher education and got her PhD and then went into the pharmaceutical industry. So she gave me a wide variety of perspectives on like what it's like in graduate school, and gave me tips on like, would I want to pursue entering into graduate school or not? And so those are the kind of things on why I think a mentorship is better than doing an informational interview, because you can also conduct informational interviews on UCLA 1. But I would say a mentorship, you really get that deeper understanding of your mentor and a connection with them that you wouldn't otherwise get with just a surface level interview. And when you develop that rapport and that relationship with them, you really get to know them better so that you could possibly ask for a favor later on, such as asking for an internship. And so I think those are really positive aspects of this program. And so 3 tips I would like to give all of you so that you can be really successful in this program is, 1, to take initiative. I think that what Gloria was talking about earlier about grit, perseverance, and flexibility are all super important. And I think they all lead into taking initiative. So I think that it's really important that you step out of your comfort zone if it's uncomfortable for you to talk to an alumni, and to really be communicative and really establish that foundation so that when you do enter into the relationship and as the year progresses, since you establish that foundation of communication, it'll be really easy later on to strike up a conversation and really set up things like possibly a Zoom monthly with your mentor or FaceTiming. And so that really leads me into my second point, to really take advantage of this experience that we all have where we have to be at home. And so one of the benefits actually of this program being virtual is that you won't only look for a mentor that may be near LA or in the Westwood area. And so it could be nice if you have a mentor maybe wherever you're coming from. And so when we are in person, you could probably go to your local Starbucks and be able to meet them wherever you're living right now. And so really find ways where you can take advantage of your situation wherever you are living, and also be on top of scheduling those Zoom calls monthly. And for my tip number 3 would be to navigate the request process with confidence, but also be respectful. So if someone doesn't respond to you in 5 days or so, Gloria also touched upon this earlier, it's totally fine to cancel and to move on. We really would like to emphasize that so that you don't stay with that request, just staying there so that you can't request another mentor since you can only request one at a time. And lastly, I would just like to say I have weekly office hours from 4 to 5 p.m. I'll put in the chat my Zoom link and also my email again. So here it is, and you can reach me in the office hours on Thursdays from 4 to 5 or in the email. I really want to help all of you succeed in this program, and I'm seriously here for you with whatever questions that you may have about the program. And yeah, I'm really excited for this coming year. With that, I'll turn it back to Gloria, who will do a demonstration on using UCLA One.
Thank you so much, Kyle. So I wanted to do a demo of the site just so that you can get an idea of how you'll navigate the platform to begin your mentorship request. And so I'm actually using Kyle's his profile so you can get a sense of how you can fill out your profile. So when you enter into UCLA One, if you have never been on the platform before, this is UCLA's, this is our online professional community. So it's a little different in the sense that LinkedIn is a fantastic platform, but everyone that's on it, you know, people could be getting requests from all different types of users, whether they're from different universities or they're other professionals from different institutions. And so anyone who's on UCLA One is vetted, and they are either a student or they are an alumni of the university, or they could be staff or faculty. And so, you know, this site is already a warm ask, and we've designed the platform to be able to kind of move along any asks or areas of growth that students may want to develop. So we ask our alumni if they can help with mock interviews or help out with resume and cover letters. We even ask them, are they willing to be a speaker at our events? So this is a great tool for students who are, you know, if you're a leader in your group and you have an event, you're looking for a speaker, use UCLA One to connect with our alumni. And so this is a platform in which we wanted it to be helpful to, you know, move forward the needs of our students and our alumni as well. And so when you're on the platform, before you begin, be sure to go to edit your profile, and also, you know, be ready to fill out more info. So if you've connected it on your LinkedIn, it'll bring in any, you know, education information, any jobs or internships you may have had. But then what we love for you to do is utilize some of the areas on the profile to share more information about you. You could use the summary. So you'll see here that Kyle used the summary to talk a little bit about his career goals, which is really helpful. And different than a resume, you can be a little bit more personal on this and showing what has been your story, right? And so you can fill that out. If you're interested in gaining help in these different areas, and again, you can seek help, but also alumni can give help in these areas. So you can see some of the ways that you can engage with alumni here. Be sure to click on Seek Mentorship to signify that you're interested in being in a mentorship this year. Again, sometimes some mentors search around and see if there's some good fits, so you can do that. But primarily this process is student initiated. So you will be doing a lot of the research for our mentors. One area too is in the About Me section. Fill out your UCLA activities and student orgs. Fill out also any volunteer experience, interests, and hobbies. Again, it rounds you out a little bit as our mentors are seeing which students are a good fit for them. Fill out any identities and affiliations important to you, you know, whether that's being Asian American, or maybe you are from a certain area that you're really proud of, or, you know, are there any parts of your identity that you think, oh, this will give a little bit more of a nuance to my professional experience. We definitely encourage you to put that there. And then also the last question we'd love for you to fill out is at the bottom. It's the UCLA Alumni Mentor Program student question: what I hope to learn from an alumni mentor. So again, this will speak directly to the mentors that you are requesting. So if, let's say, you are a pre-med and you want to be mentored by someone who's a practicing physician, you can actually say what you hope to is how they navigated medical school and how they're balancing working full-time in their own practice and also how they are balancing a personal life, right? So you can actually write a little bit more about what your goals and objectives are for taking on a mentor, okay? So once you fill all of that out, and also I recommend sometimes always writing something on a Word doc so you can always, delete and edit more freely, and then putting it in on the profile, then press save, okay? And then once you press save, go over to the left panel here and then click on UCLA Alumni Mentor Program. This will actually show you a little bit more about some of the mentors here. The system will, recommend a couple of different people, but I also recommend you looking at the other functions, whether it's by company, industry, or job function. But then also click on the Find Your Own Mentor. This, you're able to customize your search a little bit more. If you're interested in understanding maybe people from different communities, you could actually look here under communities under UCLA. If you're an AAP student, you can look for people who were in AAP, first gen. If this is international, for students that are international, maybe you want to connect with alumni that were able to transfer being an international student working in the US. LGBT, student athlete, transfer veteran. You can click on some of these areas and you can see, alumni. Once you click on them, you can find alumni who've notified that they are also part of that community. And then let's say you want to, maybe you prefer to find people in different companies. You could actually type the company here and then select maybe from the drop down people from different companies. And let's say I'm really interested in Peter here. He actually was a mentor last year. And so I'm reading his profile. He's answered the question, why I want to mentor a student. And he actually writes, he had a wonderful mentoring a wonderful time mentoring last year. And so let's say we really like Peter and we would like to send him a request. You come over here to the right side, ask Peter to be your mentor, and click on Request Mentorship. And so this will say, this is your request for mentorship. However, you're not done. You still need to write your personal message here, and you start typing here, Dear Peter. Some people get tripped up because they think that the place to write is below this message, and people are like, I can't send it. You just click here on top of write and start writing, okay? And again, I recommend you write your full request on a Word doc, and then when you feel comfortable with it, then you can go back. You can see that you can only see so much here. So maybe you might miss a spelling error or something. And so that will help you feel more confident in your request. Well, once it's made, what happens now? So then you'll actually go to mentor requests and approvals, and then you can see. So as an example, Kyle sent me a message. He only wrote, hi, Gloria, but you'll see that this is the whole message will be displayed here, okay? So this is the panel in which your mentor will actually see on the other side. They'll see your request, and then they'll either accept or decline. If, for example, your mentor does not respond in a timely manner, when I say timely, give them about 3 to 5 days, okay? And if they don't respond, maybe around the 3rd day, give them a message, send them a message just saying, hi, hi, Peter, I was really interested in being your mentee. Were you able to take a look? If you need any more information, please don't hesitate to let me know. And then if they still don't respond, I would say, then go ahead and cancel the request. You can click on this button here, and then you'll cancel the request, and your mentor allotment is then moved to whoever else you want to send a request to, okay? So again, this process is student initiated. You have to do the work to look at the types of people you're interested in connecting with, and then also you'll need to send the request, and if you want to change course, you can cancel the request. And I know sometimes people say, oh, I would like to be matched. Well, the thing is, a lot of times we found that students who get matched with someone they're not excited about don't really end up really wanting to work with that mentor anyway. And so I know that while it may seem like a lot of work on the front end, I trust that it will make it much more of a fruitful mentorship once you get through the process, okay? And so again, this is how you cancel a request if you decide that you want to move on. But then once you're accepted, you can begin communicating with your mentor. I would say send them a message through UCLA One, giving them your phone number, or even sending a Zoom link that's saying, hey, would you be willing to meet over Zoom? And then also, if that mentorship doesn't necessarily work out, maybe you haven't heard from them in 2 months, I would say you could go ahead and say, thank you so much for offering your time. Unfortunately, I haven't heard from you. And I'm assuming that maybe this isn't a good time to take on a mentee. So I'm going to go ahead and also cancel our mentorship, and I'll find a different mentor. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, hey, it's not really working. It doesn't seem like it's working out. I'm going to move on, but thank you for your time. Again, being honest and also being forthright about that you really want to put time into a mentorship and you are looking for a mentor who can give you time will be helpful in them knowing that, hey, I guess I wasn't a good fit. That's okay. Those are things that are going to happen through processes like this. And so if through this info session, you're finding, hey, I don't think I want to do a mentorship. I don't quite have the time that I want to give to this. I would actually encourage you to take a look around UCLA One, and you can actually go to the directory, and I'll show you one of the things that you should actually consider. So you go to the directory, and then you actually look under Get Involved. So under Get Involved, you're going to look at the offering to help. And actually, I would encourage you to look at informational interviews. Informational interviews are a great option to connecting with alumni and just asking a couple questions. You don't have to invest in a long-term mentorship. However, with an informational interview, those are really more exploratory. There is no real expectation that the relationship will grow. And so they may actually say, hey, just send me an email and I'm happy to answer your question. Or maybe they'll meet in person, depending on the availability. So if you are interested in connecting for an informational interview, for example, let's say I really want to connect with Harold here. He looks, wow, he has so many different degrees and certifications. He looks really interesting. He's a nurse practitioner. And oh, wow, look at all the different things that he's done. Let's say I'm really interested in connecting with him over an informational interview. I can request help here, go to this section, click on the option for available for informational interviews. And like the other one, say, Dear Harold, and then start your request and use the same template. Introduce yourself, share a little bit about yourself, make the ask for a little bit of their time for an informational interview, and then thank them for their consideration. So that's a real tangible way that you can connect with an alumna or alumnus, but you don't need to invest in the mentorship long relationship. And so, knowing yourself is, again, key to this whole process, because if you don't necessarily think you have the time right now, you can always come back to UCLA One and the mentor program maybe next year. And while some of the mentors won't be available then because maybe they currently have a student, you could always take on a mentor later. We oftentimes have mentors who don't have students after this process and they would still love to be a mentor. So again, it's not just a one and done. You can never come back to the mentor program if you don't do it this month, but there will be less alumni to select from. But again, it's here for you if right now is not the time. So before we go to our Q&A, I actually did want to share one more slide, which was for our key dates. So be sure to start today to create a profile on UCLA One and start your research. Because you've attended this info session and we have your email because you registered with us, we will email you on the 19th when you can begin requesting a mentor. And so because you've attended today, you have priority access. And what that means is you're able to send your request before the general student body. If you do submit a request before this time, we will have to remove your request because we want to give people ample time to do research, and alumni are not ready to take on requests yet. So if you do submit it early, we will cancel your request and you will then be asked to submit once your period is open. So October 19th is the priority access, and then October 20th is when the general student population can also request. We ask that you submit a request to a mentor by October 27th, and that way it gives our alumni until the 30th to accept or decline. And then on November 12th, Kyle actually is going to tell us a little bit more about this event that he has. It's our student panel event.
Yeah, so the AMP student panel event will be held on November 12th, which is week 6, and it will have students sitting on a panel who have participated in this program before and have actually found lots of success. So you'll see perspectives from a couple different students. Their mentors actually nominated them for an award at the end of either last year or the year before. And so they have a really good grasp on how to do really well in this program. And so I just wanted to share their knowledge with all of you. And so if you're interested, we'll be sending a follow-up email and you can RSVP to that. And it's again, November 12th, week 6.
Great. And then on the 18th, we'll have our official program kickoff. And this will be, some we will facilitate some discussion points for you and your mentor to take on and answer together. We'll give you some, parameters of the program and orient you to the timing of the program. And then you'll begin connecting with one another. So that's on the 18th. So now I actually will take on some of the questions that some of you have thrown into the Q&A. And so if you have any other questions, feel free to add those into the Q&A, and we'll try to do our best to answer them in the remaining time that we have. So let me see. Again, someone asked, how does coming to this info session give us a leg up and who we have as a mentor? And the answer is, by coming today, you will receive priority access, which will notify you by email that you're able to start sending a request. So I saw someone else ask, if I registered for this webinar and use them with different email accounts. That's totally fine, because you'll still get an email from us, because again, you've given us an email. And once that email comes, we'll at least connect your name with the platform. So not to worry, just as long as you're getting that email, we'll make sure on our end that you can make that submission and request. Stephen Clyde-Betch asked, does the Alumni Mentorship Program help to make professional connections? Kyle, did you want to answer that, or I can take it too?
Yeah, I can answer it. So I would say this program definitely helps to make professional connections. I think that is one of the aspects that this program does really well. And so we do say that, like, when you start your relationship, to really focus on the mentorship aspect of it, but you can definitely transition into the professional aspect later on and ask about internship opportunities, asking them to really look at your resume and see how you can improve, and possibly preparing you for or hosting mock interviews with you to really prepare you for a real interview and really succeeding in that. But yeah.
Great. And also, again, if, as you're also thinking about your mentorship, remember those 3 areas: personal, professional, leadership. If, let's say, you're just really interested in doubling down, saying, hey, I want to really grow professionally this year, putting that in your request and saying, hey, I am really excited this year to really hone in on, my professional skills and development. And I would love to find a mentor that would like to help me with that, right? And so if that's the angle in which you would like to approach this mentorship, that's totally fine and appropriate to do. There are some mentors who prefer that and may not necessarily want to do the personal stuff, but sometimes but that really depends on the mentor. And I don't want to speak for all mentors, because I know some mentors love that personal side. And so it really depends on the natural chemistry that you'll have. But I also know people who work professionally and they have a professional mentorship and they love it. So know that, again, your mentor can't be that everything for you. And not because they don't want to be, but that's a lot to ask for one person. So really finding what is the angle that you'd like to go into your mentorship with. Casey asked, can we communicate with mentors before we request them? And the answer is technically yes. You can message people through the UCLA One platform at any time. However, they also know that, that they're waiting on the request. And so if you just kind of wanted to ask, I'm just doing some research and wanted to just get more information, you're welcome to do that and doing your research. And so don't hesitate to communicate with the mentors, but they may not necessarily, just because they talk to you, they may not necessarily accept your mentorship request, because maybe they're talking to other people, right? So don't necessarily think that just because they're responding to your messages that it's officially a yes, because they still need to go through that process of accepting a request, okay? We have an anonymous question about, if we are freshmen with limited club internship experience, can we still successfully find a mentor? And I would say yes. I don't know if you want to jump in on that, Kyle, but I think yes, for sure.
Yeah, I would say for sure. I don't think a mentor, specifically for your background experience, they're actually there to really help you develop those experiences and help you navigate UCLA and provide advice. I know a lot of freshmen, even when I was a freshman. So when I was a freshman, I enter this program, but also when I was a freshman, I knew a lot of my peers that also participated. So don't let your, like you being a freshman and you being new, or you being an incoming transfer as well, affect you from requesting a mentor, because they're here to really help us. And like, I know some people are afraid that this might be competitive, but mentors also, so I guess this is another question, but mentors also take on lots of mentees. So keep in mind that this program is really to help you and for all of us to succeed. So don't be afraid, I guess, is my main point of like requesting and really putting yourself out there.
Thanks, Kyle. I was going to say, someone asked, can you still participate in informational meetings while also in a mentorship? And the answer is yes. We want to give students ways that they can connect with alumni. And maybe you'll have a mentorship that you love and you're excited about, but you still want to connect with alumni. That's totally fine. You do not have to limit yourself to one alumni a year. That is definitely not the case of why we built UCLA One. We want you to connect with as many people as you are comfortable with. And so please do, conduct informational interviews throughout the year. But know that the mentorship is slightly different in that this person is committing to you and really wanting to see you grow. And again, you may change. Might not right now you're thinking you want to go into medicine. By the end of the year, you're thinking you want to go into biopharma, right? And a mentor may take you through that process. Informational interviews would only address specific questions that you may have at that point in time. I did have someone ask if you can apply at any time, what is the purpose of this program? You know what, we know that, we want to be flexible, that, you can jump in, throughout the year, that is possible. But by starting at the beginning of the year and really setting the tone, the purpose of us doing the way we do it now with kind of priority access and then request period, this helps to give structure to a process that can be a little bit sometimes, still very broad. And then this gives students a window saying, hey, this is what I want to do. And then it gives you the runway of the whole year to really build that relationship. Sometimes, if you do want to start in the winter, that's totally fine. But again, know that, things may have changed with our alumni and maybe they won't be as responsive. But again, right now, our alumni have already said, this was starting in September. Yes, I want to help. So the alumni that you are reaching out to, they are primed to say yes, and they are primed to start working with you. And then if we send the application on the 19th, our application will be dropped. And the answer is no. If you, because you're here on the info session, you start on the 19th, you can start on the 19th because you have priority access. So, don't worry about it being dropped. This is, again, for those that are, people that are sending, have not gone to our info sessions and have not registered with us. And then someone asked again, is there a rolling basis to apply for a mentor? And again, I answered it, is that right now we are starting the main portion of our request period. And so again, we have a lot more alumni that are available right now and that are saying yes. Once we finish this rolling period, we won't necessarily close it, but we won't be doing as much programming. And then, but unless you've started in the beginning. However, in the winter time, we'll open up the process again. And you can ask for a mentor then. But again, the difference is that right now alumni are ready to take you on for the year. And also we know that right now you're at home for the fall quarter. So your needs and your time may be different, come the winter time. So if anyone has any questions about that, ultimately this platform is available for you all year long. So if you did want to just jump in, you're able to, but again, the communication with the mentor may not be as primed because we haven't, we asked them, a while ago. And so also that, so someone had actually asked, the mentor, maybe they found somebody and that person answered the question, but they didn't check the mentor. And the reason why is because they probably checked the mentor box before, but they didn't recheck it for this year. And so every year we refresh our mentor pool so that our mentors are, again, primed to answer your emails. They're not old, they're not stale. These are people that within the last 3 weeks have said, yes, I want to help. And so that's why if you don't see someone's check mark, but they have the question, they did probably act as a mentor last year, but maybe not this year. However, if you are interested in that person, it's okay to reach out to them and say, I saw that you didn't click it for this year, but you looked really interesting. Would you consider me? You would not send it through a request box because he didn't check it. You could just send it through a message. But again, if they say, hey, no, not really, I'm not really open this year, that's probably why. So yeah, so if you want to find more information about the mentor program, you can go to our website at alumni.ucla.edu/mentor. It'll go through the whole process of signing into UCLA One, what questions to answer, and how to look up our alumni and how to start researching. And again, this program is, we wanted to grow it and also be able to have it be helpful for you. So if you have any topics that you're interested in learning more about, or you want, different ways that we can help you, be sure to let Kyle know in the email that we provided, because that's the way we know how to program to your needs this year. And again, we know that this quarter is unlike any that you've anticipated. And so thank you for coming today and exploring this opportunity. We want this to be as helpful to you, and your alumni mentor may actually be closer to you right now than they are to Los Angeles and Westwood. So, who knows, in ways that we can connect with your alumni this year, and then they may be super helpful to you and could really give you a leg up, or just to really help you navigate the year ahead. So thank you everyone for coming. Kyle, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what you would say. Thank you all for coming. And I'd just like to say again, I'm really excited to see all of you, maybe in person in my office hours, and just to answer any of your questions that you have. But yeah, this is going to be really fun.
Great. And also, please do check out Kyle's office hours, especially if you're having any issues. Maybe you want some, feedback on what to write to alumni and whatnot. So definitely check that out. I will take, I guess, this one more question from Jessica. Do we need to be enrolled at UCLA to continue the program? If I apply in the fall but not enrolled in the winter, can I still be part of the program? So this is for our students. So if you are a student, but maybe you're waiting, you're taking a gap quarter, that's fine, as long as you are legitimately a student. And the reason why we say that is that's the only way you'll be able to get into UCLA One. So we do actually look on the registrar's record and make sure that you're a student. And even if you're maybe putting your education on pause for the quarter, that's okay. And so we know that maybe you want to still take advantage of the network, that's fine. So you're able to still participate. And again, we know that you may change your mind and maybe you'll take winter quarter off instead. And that's fine again too, but as long as you're communicative with your mentor and that you let them know where you stand when it comes to you being a student. And who knows, maybe you'll even be able to take on other opportunities during that time. So again, we want this program to be as flexible to your experience as we can, but we also need you to take the initiative and also put in the investment in really building that mentorship. So thank you everyone for coming to our info session. And we look forward to seeing your requests on the 19th. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know. And so congrats on all that you've achieved so far. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your fall quarter, and go Bruins.